So in today's web dev tip, we've got another job to do on our server to get it ready to accept and run our code. And although we've set up some space on our server to put our Node files, we haven't actually got Node installed, so we won't be able to run the API or the backend services when we actually push the code across. So we're going to install Node on our DigitalOcean droplet today, and there are a couple of different ways that you can do this, but in this tutorial we're going to be using NVM. And NVM allows you to install different versions of Node and switch between them quite easily. So if we do need to make any changes to our Node environment, we can do that with NVM. And we can also make sure that we're using and running the same version of Node as we have on our local computer. So if you haven't used NVM before, it's pretty simple. There's a GitHub repository for it. And if you go to that page, you should find that there's a script that you can just literally copy, an install script. And if you copy that onto your clipboard, you should be able to run that on your server, and that will install NVM for you. So let's go ahead over to our terminal, and I'm going to log on to the server with the rickandroll user. Let's just clear the terminal, and then we just paste that command into the terminal there, and it will actually go ahead and download the files necessary to install NVM. I think it's already installed on this server already, but if you haven't got it installed, this will go ahead and do that. So to run NVM, you type NVM, and you might find to start off with that your terminal doesn't understand it because it needs to be added to your path as a program to be used. So you can just, as the instructions say here, just copy this information, these two lines, to export the variable and actually run the NVM script from here. Or also what you can do is actually copy the two commands here and put them into your bash rc file, which is loaded. It's some configuration that's loaded every time you open up a terminal on the server, and that way you don't need to remember and keep running that command. So let's just open up the bash rc file. It's empty at the moment, there's nothing in here, and we just paste in those two commands. And now when we actually run our terminal again, or if we just run those commands just to show you, you should have access to the NVM command. So the way NVM works is you basically install a particular version, and then you can switch between different versions using the NVM use command if you need to, but we won't be switching within our project. We'll just install one version, and that will be pretty much us done. So you can list all of the available versions with ls-remote, and you'll see there's loads of different Node versions available for you to install. And we could install the latest version, but let's go for the stable 16.13.1. So to install it, we say nvm install 16.13.1. I've already got that version installed, but if you don't, it will go away and actually download the necessary files for Node to be used. And if we say Node version, you should see that version 16.13.1 is now installed. So that's us pretty much set up with Node on our server. So once we're actually in a position where we can push the files across, we should be able to get our API service running by running the code within our Node environment. That's it for this tutorial. Make sure you stay tuned for more web dev tips.